Hello and welcome to the last step in our creativefulness journey, where we invite you to become fully aware of your own personal creative process. We are here in the Tipoteca Museum in northern Italy with our winners from the previous summer challenges and Eric Spiekermann himself to share some glimpses from behind the scenes at the workshop and some sneak peeks of the original vintage assets. We then invite you to go further by joining us in our final challenge, the Online Creative Jam, that could take you and a friend to Adobe MAX, the creativity conference in Los Angeles this November. Starting from now, you will have 72 hours to create an original static or animated artwork using a brand new set of 3 vintage typefaces along with the previously released illustrations and ornaments. Then, just post it on Instagram using the hashtag #OnlineCreativeJam. To get your creative juices flowing, let's hear from someone who knows all about pushing his creativity to the limit. Designer and typographer Eric Spiekermann. Hi Eric, thank you for joining us here today for the workshop, of course, with the winners of our summer challenges. And of course, thanks to you and your team for providing the vintage assets and typefaces that our creatives will be using in our online creative jam as well.
It's always a pleasure, especially being here at the Tipoteca, who actually provide this year's assets.
We know you selected these illustrations and typefaces from your own private archive and from here, the Tipoteca Museum. Can you tell us what inspired you about them and why you chose them for us?
Well, this particular time we went for the theme of expressionist typography, which is something that happened between the wars, in other words, in the late 20s and early 30s. And these people here in Italy have lots of that in their archives, and we were just enamored by these amazing pieces of art, which is what it is in the analog way.
That's great. And of course, you had the pleasure of hosting the workshop with our challenge winners. They had only used illustrations and ornaments digitally until now, so seeing them work with the original analog versions must have been very interesting to you. And what was the biggest difference for them working with traditional printing methods and techniques?
Well, this is the analog stuff, so you actually get to hold those letters in your little hands. And the first thing you notice that there is no white space. I mean, if you put this into a machine, you have to put the stuff in between and you have to touch it. So that experience is always very eye-opening and everybody likes it. I mean, they're having a great time doing something very limited and very physical.
So this time we've digitized 3 vintage typefaces. Can you tell us a little bit about the process?
Well, we came here earlier this year and printed about 24 of them in various sizes. So some of them only come in one size. We looked at them back in Berlin and decided for the 3 with the Adobe people that were unused, unusual, and also indicative for that period. And then we had our own Ulrike Rausch digitize them, add some features, bring them into the digital age, and make them into actually useful typefaces for today.
Do you have any advice for the creatives who are going to join the online creative jam and who will be actually using the new set of typefaces?
I think, well, the advice is to be inspired by these shapes. And we've had the people here, I mean, all nice young kids, well, from where I am, young kids, just looking at them and immediately being inspired. Because, I mean, look at this. This is supposed to be an F. I mean, it looks nothing like an F that you and I are used to, but you're inspired by the shapes, you're inspired by the process. Everybody went, I want this red and I want this black, and they were inking away and couldn't stop. So I think if you use them even on your screen, you will get so inspired by these amazing ways of designing letter forms that there won't be any stopping you.
Well, I think that's great advice. Finally, do you practice what we've called creativefulness?
Well, one thing that happens is that, as we say, everything has been done before, but then it hasn't. The choices we have with digital, 16 million colors and 100,000 fonts, are both amazing and limiting because it's too much to go on. So I get inspired by the lack of choices you have in the analog world. So that inspires me all the time to make do with maybe just one typeface, maybe just one color. And I think that's the lesson we can learn. We use our screens, but maybe we go back and thinking not about everything we can do, but the one thing we have to do.
Well, thank you so much, Eric. It's been really great talking to you. Now it's your turn to practice creativefulness and elevate your creative game. Good luck, and we look forward to seeing what you come up with and maybe see you in Los Angeles this November.